Iya kan ini over 3 nih. Terus satu mic yang beda nih. Iya. Research. Nih.
Sebut.
Tes cek.
Cek. Oke. Sudah.
Ini. Udah.
Sudah bisa Mas Sufyan? Oke, kita mulai. Izin mulai ya, Bu. Oke. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable Dean of Faculty of Education, Prof. Nina Nurmila, PhD. Our distinguished speaker for today, Ibu Diana Trisnawati, MPD, PhD. Respected lecturers of Faculty of Education, students of IIIU, and all participants joining us here today in this room and also through the Zoom. Welcome to the Lunch Talk number 55 with the theme Navigations, Global Education and Local Identity, Reframing the Dynamics of International Schooling in Indonesia. On behalf of the organizing committee, we would like to thank you for all of your presence and also participants today. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Desinta Puspa, a PhD student from the 2025 intake, and I will be your moderator for today's sessions. Let me open with a short pantun. Pergi ke UII mencari ilmu tanpa lapar. Think globally, embrace the local culture. Thank you. For formally begin our program, it is a great honor to invite the Dean of Faculty of Education, Prof. Nina Nurmila, PhD, to deliver her opening remarks. Please join me in welcoming Prof. Nina Nurmila, PhD.
Because this is definitely working, ya. Oke. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Well, this is very unusual. Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Muhammadin sayyidil mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi syrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Amma ba'du. First, I would like to thank Dr. Diana Trisnawati, MPD, PhD. Yeah. She was introduced to us by Dr. Bambang Sumintono because she just graduated from University of Malaya where Pak Bambang worked. But today, as you might know, that Pak Bambang is, in China. Yeah. Well, this is a bit unusual because I don't see many of you. Well, thank you, Pak Lukman, Pak Nirwan, Bu Destina, Desinta, Bu Vivi, Bu Dika, and also a few students, Jihan, Lizzie. I cannot see your face. Is- Sorry, you are Alda, yes, and then Sarah over there, and Afan is here. Yeah, we have Doro and Sufyan and Afan over there. Thank you very much for coming. Also, I would like to greet online participant if there are any. Today, our lunch talk, Dr. Diana Trisnawati will share about navigating global education and local identity, reframing the dynamics of international schooling in Indonesia. This is very timely topic because we are in the globalized world where we are connected through the internet and with the high technology that we can access airplane that we can go anywhere in the world easily, even though the war has rocketing our airplane fee. Yeah. And after today's session, it is very extraordinary also. Other than that, no, not many participants here, even though in the morning I saw many students supported Julia's thesis defense. Perhaps one of the reason is that there is no lunchbox usually being provided, yeah, due to the funding cut. Very unfortunate, yeah. But today I would like to inform you that after we finish our lunch talk, we will continue the session by having a farewell to two of our lectures, Ibu Paradika and Paradika and Dr. Nirwan, who will leave us to the new working place. So Pak Nirwan will go to UIN Jogja beginning 1st of August, and Dr. Paradika will be the lecture at Sekolah Tinggi Agama Buddha Negeri Sriwijaya, yeah, the place that's she preferred in order she can be together with her family because her husband work as a civil servant too in Jakarta, yeah. For both of you, Ibu Dika and Pak Nirwan, you are always welcome if you would like to participate in our relevant event in Triple IU. Make yourself at home because you have been here for more than a year. I think it's almost 2 years. Almost 2 years, yeah. Yeah, okay. I will give you opportunity to give like a short speech after the lunch talk. And students, please stay for the farewell. I think that's all. We are looking forward to listening to your speech, Ibu Diana. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih, Desinta.
Thank you, Prof. Nina, for the speech. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my pleasure to introduce our distinguished speaker for today's session, Dr. Diana Trisnawati, MPD, PhD. Please join me in giving a very warm welcome to Dr. Diana Trisnawati. Before the session, allow me to briefly read Ibu Diana's biography. Dr. Diana is currently a lecturer in the Department of History Education at Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta, UNY. She completed her bachelor degree and also master degree both in the history education at UNY and also UNS. She then pursued her doctoral degree in educational foundations and humanities at the University of Malaya, Malaysia, which she completed in 2025. Her academic and research interests span in history education, character education, local culture, Pancasila as well, civic engagement, interculture sensitivity, and international mindedness. She has published extensive in this area, including several works indexed in the Scopus and also Web of Science. Among her notable publications are her research on hybrid service learning to promote civic engagement, published in the Citizenship Teaching and Learning journal, and her research on the experience of teachers and students in developing interculture sensitivity in Indonesia International Baccalaureate Middle Years Program, IB, published in the Interculture Communication Education, and her work on the developing students' interculture sensitivity through intercultural courses, published in Curriculum and Teaching Journal in 2025. Interestingly, this last publication is actually how I first know Ibu Dr. Diana. We had an opportunity to exchange several emails, so it feels really like what is my word? Now I have opportunities to meet Ibu Diana, Dr. Diana in person, and even have a wonderful session to moderate Ibu Diana for our today's sessions. It is real pleasure and also honor to have you with us, Ibu Diana. And without further ado, we shall now proceed to our main session. The presentation will last approximately 1 hour and will be followed by a question and answer session. Dr. Diana, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Desinta. Sorry. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. First, allow me to respectfully acknowledge the Honorable Dean of the Faculty of Education, Triple IU, Prof. Nina Nurmila, PhD. All distinguished lecturers of Faculty of Education, Triple IU, then all students from master program and also PhD program Faculty of Education Triple IU, and all participants attending this meeting through physically or by Zoom. And I will also express my particular thank you for Bapak Associate Prof. Bambang Sumintono, PhD. Although he is still in his that is in China and unable to present here with us. Thank you very much, Pak Bambang. And begin I start. Let me introduce myself. So my name is Diana Trisnawati. I am a lecturer from University Negeri Yogyakarta, UNY. So I come from Jogja. I just been finished from my PhD from the Department of Educational Foundation and Humanities, Faculty of Education, University Malaya last year. So I'm still fresh graduate from the PhD. And actually, I do not consider myself as an expert in this field, in this topic today, because actually currently I'm still novice researcher. I'm still learning a lot, studying hard for this topic but I believe that I highly passionate in this area because interesting for me. Yeah. Then this is part of my thesis doctoral study. So here I hope that this session not too formal, yeah, Prof. Because I also struggling with my PhD journey in University Malaya, and I believe that some of you here also PhD student. So in this moment, I hope that not only for me to share my experience, my journey as a PhD student, but I also want to hear from some of you, perhaps, yeah, when struggling, when facing milestone by milestone in your PhD in Triple IU, and today the topic is navigating global education and local identity, reframing the dynamic of international schooling in Indonesia. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I will sitting there. I was sitting here. So, according to my research study in my doctoral, if in UN, in University Malaya, for graduate from the PhD program, we have to publish at least 2 Scopus journal. So I don't know, but in Triple IU, so I learned a lot about how to research, how to writing for the publication in the Scopus journal. So. There are some my article in the Scopus Journal according to this topic. Yeah. When we discuss about international school, perhaps people will figure out about the will associate with the international curriculum, diverse of students, and then diverse of teachers, because the international school consists of kind of culture, kind of nationalities, not only by local people, but actually kind of foreigner or perhaps the expatriate join or attending that school. And we also know that actually for the international curriculum, there are kind of topic, kind of type of international curriculum like Cambridge, and then the International Baccalaureate, and then Pearson, New Zealand curriculum, American curriculum, and so on. And in Indonesia, there are a kind of number of international school, and yeah, we will discuss in this afternoon. And then here in my slide, international school are not culturally natural space, because when we talk about international school, there are kind of problem that caused by the diversity. And then they are shaped by global education models, national policies, institutional priorities, teachers' perspective, students' diverse background. And also international school should therefore not be understood simply as just transfer of a foreign culture, but in Indonesia, especially, we have to be balanced with local culture, local community, because not only foreigner but also the local student also attend some of international school, and then it should be regarded as a continuous process of negotiation between global education aspirations and local social, cultural, religious, and national realities. And then we can start from this question. So, how can international schools prepare students for global participation while remaining meaningfully connected to Indonesian culture, society, and national identity? And for today's last lunch talk, we will start from the understanding international school itself, like definition or the concept or the indicator of international school. And then we also want to continue with, oh, sorry. Yeah, thank you, Miss. Then we will continue with the types of changing models of international school. And then we will discuss about the current landscape of international school in Indonesia and how Indonesian policy in facing and preparing international school and also intercultural education. And then we also discuss about intercultural encounters and everyday challenges like the cultural issues, like student issue, community issue in international school. And we also discuss about positioning Indonesian knowledge and identity within global curricula. But perhaps in this session, I will focus about the IB curriculum because I still study about the IB in my doctoral degree. And then the last one, we will discuss about reframing international school from global transfer to contextual negotiation. And we will start from the definition of international school. Actually, there are kind of definition of what is international school, and actually, the definition is not a fixed definition because each international school has their own purpose. So not the same purpose. And for example, here Hayward said that international school is characterized by its focus on particular expatriate country. So just for accommodate expatriate member. But IST define international school as any school that delivers a curriculum to any combination from the level preschool, primary or secondary students, and then fully or partly in English outside speaking country or English as second language. And then Peirce also define international school is a school that offers an education experience different from the local national system in the country where it operates, particularly non-local, foreign, and international curriculum. I think the last one is more diverse definition. Yeah, and then we continue about the type of international school. According to Hayden and Thompson, they have classified international school into three types. Types A, B. Miss, sorry. Yeah. Type E, B, and C. Type E called traditional international school, that actually school primary established to serve internationally mobile expatriate families whose children may not be able to access an appropriate education through the host country national system. So actually this type only for accommodating the expatriate. Perhaps their parent have a professional work board, so they can attend national system, so that host country provide the curriculum, provide the school. Then in this type, actually there is a connection with the embassy. And then the second one about the type B, ideological international school, that school formed with an explicit mission to promote international understanding, intercultural dialogue, global peace, and cooperation among students from different national background. So in this type, actually, the school has a mission. For example, like global school, Green School in Bali, for example. The Green School in Bali has mission to accommodate Greenpeace, to accommodate nature in Bali. So the building, all the whole of school consists from bamboo because they accommodate about, they will promote about the natural environment for the students. And for type C, non-traditional international school, school predominantly serving socioeconomically advantaged host country families WUSIC international curricula, English medium education, international qualification, and access to overseas universities. I thought that in Indonesia, there are kind of international school in type C because as we seen right now, many kind school, there are many preferences school, not only in public school or conventional school, but private school. And then I thought that parents who come from middle or upper class, they have more privilege to send their children to, for example, in national plus curriculum, because they want like to children to can English can speaking English fluently, for example, and then they can more engage with diverse culture, and perhaps to prepare their children to enter reputable university in the world. And then this is the data according to International School in Indonesia. But once again, I highlight that actually the types A, B, and C is not fixed type because it depending the international purpose itself. And here I provide the data in the black box. In the black box, there is a significant increasing number of the international school in the world. It's like the significant percentage. For example, from the school in the last decades, from 2015 until 2025, 45%, and then for students, 51%, and staff, 54%, and fee income, there are 80%. And in Indonesia, based on international school database in 2016, there are 146 international school in Indonesia in 3 different cities. So Jakarta is like home of the population of international school because Jakarta has 73 international school, and Bali has 35, Surabaya 14, Medan 10, Bandung 9, Lombok 3, and Bogor 2. And then we continue to the next slide. It is about distribution of international school in Indonesia. So I start from the SPK unit. SPK means sekolah, Satuan Pendidikan Kerjasama. So it's like Indonesian Association for International School. So this SPK accommodate all international school in Indonesia. So they have a member who 640 education units across 21 provinces because not all province in Indonesia has international school. And then the second one is about the IB World School. In Indonesia has 80 schools offering at least one IB program because actually IB has 4 main program. First one is about primary year program or PYP for school for students age range 3 until 11, and then the second one is middle year program or MYP from students range age range 11 until 16, and then the third one is about the DP or diploma program for school students underage 16 until 19. And then the last one is for career-related program for student age 16 until 19. And for the DP and CEP or career-related program is to prepare students to enter the university. Because actually, mostly the student in the IB school or in the international school have dream to pursue university in the abroad. So IB, International Baccalaureate. It's like Cambridge because in Indonesia, kind of school, international school types like IB, International Baccalaureate from Swiss, Genoa, and then Cambridge from the Cambridge itself, and then also Pearson, but not too familiar because in Indonesia mostly Cambridge with the IB. And then the next one, next about the Cambridge School. Cambridge School, by the data, there are 200 school that using or adopt the Cambridge as curriculum, and the last one is National Plus curriculum. But I think that the Indonesian people or the citizen more familiar with National Plus curriculum, so they will balance about the national curriculum and adopt one of 3 program from the IB or the Cambridge. So sometime in the instruction process, they will follow the instructor by Indonesia, but the teacher also prepare the student for taking Cambridge test or IB test. I thought that 1 year, 2 or 3 times for the IB test or Cambridge test. Yeah. Okay. If we talk about or if we discuss about international school, actually there are dynamics of international school in Indonesia. And here I adopt from Danau Tanu in growing up in transit. Actually, it start from the early period. The purpose or the main purpose of international school in Indonesia is to establish for UN or United Nations diplomatic or expatriate families. It's like type A from the Hayden and Thompson in the previous slide. But by the time, especially in 1990s, opportunities for opened for international standard education. So in this time, Indonesian government offer kind opportunities for school that want to adopt international curriculum. But in the Reformation in 1998, actually the political and economical issues has directly impact to the dynamic of international school, because especially for expatriate departures, they leave Indonesia because of insecurity situation, and they only attend this country by themselves and just send her family or their children to their passport country. And then before 23, Indonesian citizen prohibited from attending international school because the government worry the students or local students will leave the identity for Indonesia. And then in 23, national education system law and relaxation of enrollment restriction. So there is opportunity to raise the number of international school. And then during 23 and 2013, there is an expansion of international school and national plus education. And this time, national and international education increasingly overlap, as we seen today. And then after that, in 2014, the Ministry Regulation number 31, 2014, there are regulated that all of international school should be joined with the SPK school, Satuan Pendidikan Kerjasama. So like Indonesian Association from International School. And actually for SPK, they have annual meeting in every year, and in that meeting they discuss, they control, they evaluate the program or international school in Indonesia, and they also have like organization, structural organization, and under the Ministry Education and Culture. And then 2014 onward, Indonesian subjects and national requirement mandate. So every local student in international school should learn about Pancasila and also Bahasa, and for foreigner should learn about Indonesian culture. Next slide. On the other hand, the rising numbers of international school in Indonesia, also there is a significant challenges or potential challenge that faced by students, faced by teachers, and also school community, because kind of problem at that environment, such as language hierarchies and the dominance of English. And I believe that some of you here also international students from Pakistan, from Arabic perhaps, from Philippines. During my discussion with Mbak Desinta, I believe that as international student also face kind of problem like adjustment issues, yeah, perhaps especially in language because not too familiar with bahasa Indonesia. But I'm not sure in Triple IU also make the like regulation or the compulsory for studying bahasa or not. Yeah, perhaps it will be considered later. Yeah, for foreigners should be learn about bahasa in Triple IU. And then, okay, yeah. And then the second one is stereotyping and simplified representation of culture. And the third one is unequal participation between local and expatriate members of the school community. Unequal can be seen like because in international school, especially in IB school, uh, only 30% of students are foreigner, and also for teaching staff, and then mostly for 70% are local students. But because the curriculum is adopt IB, International Baccalaureate Curriculum, so some of local students, perhaps that they have no fluently in English, cannot join the learning process with smoothly. Sometimes when I conduct collecting data at some of IB school in Indonesia, in Jakarta, the teacher, especially local teacher, said to me that actually local students face language problem because they have no English fluently. So to accommodate that situation, a local teacher, Indonesian teacher, uh, serving the material by duo in two bahasa, in English and also in Indonesia. And there is a gap among international student or foreigner student with the local because actually the material adopt from the IB itself because IB like the big organized and they have well established to prepare the curriculum, to prepare like vision and mission. And so all of students should be allowed that regulation. And then the next one is about misunderstanding arising from different communication style. Yeah, this like I said before, because actually communication is the keyword. And I also aware that actually how we can develop English communication is not by instant. It cannot instant because we have to engage with different environment so we can to improve our English skill for speaking for actually. And then the next one is tension between global education values and local social norm because actually when we enter international school, they do not aware about their identity because they want to be international. So they don't care about where did they come from and perhaps nationalities, perhaps the spiritualism and so on, because they just want to be same. Yeah, but sometimes the local values, especially for Indonesian students, a teacher worry because they will forget the Indonesian identity. So this is the challenge in that school. And the next one is about limited representation of Indonesian perspective in teaching material because in IB school or in Cambridge school adopt international material, so they only present, mostly present the curriculum, the subject about international issues. So they leave local issues, especially host country issues. And then cultural isolation within social privileged school environment. Cultural isolation means like actually we can see in international school in the classroom there are consists of kinds of students. For example, the majority of students are Indonesian. Perhaps only 30% are expatriate that come from France and then Japanese, South Korea, and Australia, and so on. But I also found that one of my participant from student participant illustrate to me that he faced stereotype. He faced bias because of her outfit. So he will be like silent people at that school because they afraid the friends not like dislike with him. Yeah, this is real because actually that bullying is real in that school, in international school. And also difference in teachers intercultural awareness and pedagogical competence. And when I collect the data, interview with some of teachers from Indonesia and also foreigner, they told to me that actually there is no training cultural preparation for new teachers that enter international school. So the cultural awareness, so the cultural knowledge is about their self. It's no, because there is no training, so they will learn by self. And then actually the role of teachers are significant because teachers is like a special actor in the classroom. They can handle the classroom, they can manage the cultural diversity in the classroom, and how to purpose the goal of the classroom is by the teacher. So here this is provide some strategies that can adopt teachers when teaching in international school, like adopt international curricula to Indonesian context. So I thought that kind of point here actually for Indonesian teachers because our topic is to connecting global and local. So there are for local teachers, for example, adopt international curricula to Indonesian context. Yeah, so teachers should be aware when they teaching in the classroom, they have to use or they have to discuss to introduce the material or the local phenomena around them. So it can make students more engaged, more aware with the local environment, and they also can manage culturally and linguistically diverse classroom. For example, when in the classroom, they can create kind of um, group, subgroup that consists of not only Indonesian students but mixed. So they will learn by peer learning because they will know each other. They can close each other, and then teachers should create inclusive learning environment. I thought that inclusive, I mean, they can accommodate not only the most majority students culture, but also the minority. So there is no bullying again in the classroom. And then challenge stereotypes and cultural essentialism. This is also not easy to challenge stereotypes because, yeah, because if the differences is still be challenges for the international school, and then incorporate local and example and knowledge, and then the next one is to facilitate dialogue about identity and belonging. Because actually the IB has kind of the international school have kind of program that not only for student or not for teachers but for the all of stakeholders and that school, like perhaps parenting and then a community of school and community around that school, so they can accommodate all of stakeholder to integrate dialogue, and so they can create the peacefully environment. And then the last one is to balance institutional expectation with the needs of students and communities. Okay, next slide. There are kind of meaningful engagement local and global. So I provide kind of indicator or aspect that can be adopted by international school in Indonesia. For example, number one is partnership with local school and international and universities. Uh, and I thought that actually some of international school have adopted this aspect because in one semester there are like activities to visit some of local local sites like perhaps traditional market or local community. They visit Lampung, they visit Banten, they visit Bali, for example. So it can be bridge to connect it local and global. So the students not only learn in the classroom by the theory, but they can observe directly in the local sites. And then the second one is about the inclusion of community voice in curriculum development. And I found that actually the vision and mission in the IEB itself is to adopt and to provide the intercultural understanding. So I thought that they also have designed to how the inclusion of community voice in curriculum development. And then community-based research and service learning. And I believe that actually in international school, the student they are very smart. They have good in critical thinking. When I ask kind of a question when conducted interview with them, the answer is very good, and they can by detail can explore what the meaning of learning, what the meaning of culture with excellent description. And so I thought that with that curriculum also can improve the research skill for the students, because then actually the research skill is not for like we seen today, there is improvement research from STEM or AI, but we can make a connection with local research, with the community-based research, so they can learn about how to improve their critical thinking skill with connecting with the local communities. And then responsible visits to local communities that avoid charity-based or exotizing approaches. And charity-based actually like a regular program. They visit orphan, they visit community that still asks for help, and so on. And then collaboration with cultural practitioners and local organizations, because to develop local values, to connecting the global and local, we need to make networking not only with the global communities but the local. It's also depending on international school itself. For example, if in Bandung, the Temasek school develop kind of networking with some communities, local communities in Bandung, to learn angklung, for example, or to learn batik. And then reciprocal learning between international school and their surrounding communities. So actually for learning process, the source is not only from the curriculum or the school facilities, but they have to accommodate, they have to invite the local communities to that school. So they will two-way, not only from the school, but also from the communities itself. And then the last one is students' engagement with local environment and social issues. Because actually, especially in MYP program, middle year program, same level with secondary school student, the students still looking for their identity. They have facing kind of problem as teenager. So actually, the issues that discussed in the classroom should be updated. So they will more aware with the society. They will more aware about the news in the television, for example, on the media social. And then, okay, there is a regulation of the Minister of Education and Culture, number 31 of 2014, that are compulsory subjects for Indonesian students. They have to attend religious education for a Muslim, Christian, Hinduism, Buddhist, and so on. And then also the local students should allow the Pancasila, pendidikan Pancasila, kewarganegaraan, or civic education, and also bahasa Indonesia. Because at least in Indonesia, right now there is no traditional international school because the SPK itself has regulated that whatever international school have to hire 30 at least 30% teaching staff. So for the requirement as for foreign students, they have to learn about Bahasa Indonesia and Indonesian culture, commonly referred to as Indonesian studies. This is for foreign student. And then conclusion. So here the conclusion is international education should not require students to choose between becoming global competence and remaining connected to their local identities. So the central challenge is to develop educational environments in which global knowledge and local experience enrich one another. So we balance among global and local. And then international school in Indonesia can play a constructive role when they recognize that international mindedness is not defined by distance from the host country. International mindedness also the key point in the IB curriculum because the purpose of IB curriculum is to develop student intercultural international mindedness. It is the ability, students' ability to respect for cultural differences, to being empathic, to being responsible, good risk taker, and so on. So this point is very important in for IB student. And then it is demonstrate through respectful intercultural engagement, meaningful participation in local societies, critical awareness of global inequalities, and a willingness to learn from both international and Indonesian knowledge tradition. All right, so I thought that's all for me. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Let's give more round of applause for Dr. Diana for the presentation. It's very enlightening, especially how the international schools can connect the global thinking towards the local wisdom as well. Okay, now we're going to open the Q&A sessions. We will open questions in the room first, and then later we will open the question for the Zoom meeting. Okay.
Sorry, this is the practical question because I don't know much about the international school. You presented, I think, earlier slide, please, that there are requirements that the international students in the international school should learn. I think more learn about religious education, Pancasila, and okay, yeah, at the end, yeah, to the end. Yes, this one. So this applies also to the students from, for example, the children of the uh, expatriate, for example, for any students, or this is just for Indonesian who study at the international school. Okay, you have already answered that. Thank you.
Check.
Not for the international.
Because for international students, actually only learn about Indonesian culture and sometimes Indonesian or bahasa. For example, when they call teacher not by Mr. or Miss but Ibu and Bapak, so more engagement with Indonesian. Yeah, and no, because Pancasila actually to develop a national civic for Indonesian students. So the expatriates are not allowed to join Pancasila. Yes, not allowed. Yeah.
Check. Okay, thank you, Budiana, for the very insightful presentation. Along your presentation, actually, I remember back then I used to be a teacher, mathematics teacher in one of international school in Surabaya. And I remember at that time is around 2014, the changings between we can't call international schools. You can't have that name in the title of the school. So we are busy thinking like how to take out the international wording. Okay, so my question is not about that. I mean that experience bring me into this question these days, like the explanation that you have. So I'm keen to know your ideas about, do you think if our local school, with all the result of your study, having this aspect, that aspect, so that the local can come up, but that quality is international. So do you think our Indonesian local school, without that international curriculum, quotes and quotes, uh, with all that additional things, do you think has the potential to have like global quality, but very locally rooted, like the logo of UGM? At first, when I know your, yeah, so they have that theme. So I was thinking like, is it UGM? But then when you explain it, it's about school. So I was like, I'm keen to know your ideas. Then we can come to the next discussion.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Bu. That's fair. Bu Destina, yeah, interesting question. Actually, I believe that actually the purpose of education is according to the community. So I believe there is a community-based education, because before I pursue PhD with this topic, this area, I also did some of research related to the community-based education. I visit Sekolah Anak Dalam, I visit Sarolangun, I visit Samin, and so on. Yeah, and also I studied about anak jalanan, education for anak jalanan. It's very like earth and ya, bumi dan langit, ya, sekolah anak jalanan dengan this international education. Yeah, because I believe, oh yeah, actually we cannot generalize the education, because each community has purpose. Each community has something that have to develop. And here, sometimes people thought that, wow, international school has so expensive for the tuition fee. Yeah, but there are sasaran or the subject for the international school itself. And then the question from Bu Destina about our school, like conventional school, actually can. I believe it can. We can improve the quality of our education through national system. But sometimes curriculum because Indonesia has kind of curriculum, so many curriculum, change the ministerial, change the curriculum, so there is not like blueprint. But in IB and Cambridge, they have established blueprint, so they develop as a curriculum, and then we only adopt, we only adjust. But in Indonesia, like not, no, there is no established, still not established, because yeah, sometimes change, not established, not, there is no blueprint curriculum. But if we can improve the quality of education through, yeah, the SDM or the teachers qualification of teacher itself. For example, actually we learn English from primary school, right? From primary school, and then elementary, secondary, until in the university we still learn bahasa Inggris or English. But there are many people in Indonesia, include me, cannot speak English fluently. For example, I thought that there is something problem with us, with the system, with the instruction, with the process, and so on. And this is the big challenge for us as educator, actually. But if I think like curriculum Merdeka, some of friends, some of teacher friends said that actually curriculum Merdeka adopt from the IB, International Baccalaureate Curriculum, because they have students to more explore, to explore their talent, to explore their passion by that curriculum. So the subject, perhaps we know that in Indonesian school there are kind of subject from elementary until the secondary, kind of subject from physics, science, social, and so on. But if we uh, observe in international school, only a few subjects, but deep in depth. They provide subject or material very in depth. Yeah, I think like that, Miss Destina. Yeah.
Still have question, Bu? Yeah. Oh yeah, please.
Just a bit.
Okay.
Okay. So do you think international schools should be there still, compete with the local school that we have, or I don't know. I think I'm very very intentional. I'm one of that not so agree with international curriculum, to be honest. So I was just thinking your ideas, like, so do you think it's ideally we still have this international curriculum with the reasoning that you have, and to see, I mean, these days the gap is really wide.
Okay.
Like many school even doesn't have students because parents are running to pursue those very high quality, they call it high quality, quotes and quotes.
Okay.
So what do you think as the educators, like, do you think this international still ideal to be there to make our education better?
Okay, thank you, Miss Destina, for the further feedback and question. Actually, international schools has a good standard, and also our curriculum, also our school also has standard. Also, we are different, but actually, we have to face the globalization. We have to face and aware, and also believe that the era was changed. We have to allow with the era. We have to learn a lot about the AI, for example, the technology and so on, and also the communication skill, because uh, English is a big English as international bahasa for communication. So I thought that actually if we can if we can evaluate, or if we can adopt some of values of international school for national curriculum, it will be better. Yeah, like that, Miss. Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Bu Destina, and also Bu Profina, and also Bu Diana. I think we can open the session for the online participants. Is there any question from the online participants? No questions? Okay, so maybe another one questions from the people in this room. Any questions? No, actually, I have a question, Bu Diana. Yeah, this is interesting actually when we're talking about international schools in Indonesia, because it is needed. There are a lot of expatriate in here, so we should open the international school, and then because the quality become good, and then our national children also going to that school as well, and then this become a huge gap in between. But then my question is like, how do you do the research? Because I experienced difficulties in engaging with the international schools. They are very what is it? Private. They if we want to, like, for example, I want to study about the numeracy and also spatial thinking actually in the SVP, in the Cikal, but then they're like closing their door. They're not like, actually they say it's okay, they can, but then the process of ethical clearance is very rigid and things. But you maintain to do your research towards the international schools. Maybe you can share with me or with us. Maybe also my friends in here are also curious about conducting research in the international schools.
Okay, Miss Jacinta, this is according to my experience. Actually, as PhD student, I also worry about how to conduct the study in international school, because they are very restrict for permission, for allow the researchers from outside that school. And according to my experience in 2023, I try to call one by one international school in Jakarta, especially just by phone, and there is no response from them. But one of people has good response for me. Just leave the email, miss, and then I will email. I will back to you, and then I allow the guidance, and then I allow with the guidance, and then I have her WhatsApp number, and she guides me to enter that school, but with some regulation. I have to present my proposal to school principal, in some of school in Jakarta. I proposed my proposal and I present my interview question, all of interview question to the school principal. The school leader is Canada. And then they check one by one and okay, good. You can collect the data by kind of teacher here. So they he nominate teacher, if I'm not mistaken, 4 teacher from one school, nominate teachers, and then I make appointment with each teachers. So after I conducted interview physically with each teacher at that school, the school leader also contact me again to ask about how about the transcription. So they he very worry about what is the result of my study, for example. So they read my transcription and they will be like make sure with all of member of school that this is secure, this is not this is still safe, not dangerous for, yeah, because it's reputable of that school. So after that, yeah, we have to clarify, we have to report step by step and so on. And also after I finish my thesis dissertation, this thesis doctoral, I report to that school that my study have finished and this is my thesis and so on. So yeah, I also believe, I aware that it is very tricky to enter international school. Yeah, like that, Miss.
Thank you so much, Dr. Diana. Actually, this answered the questions of my my own. Like, should be open, should be very very careful in conducting that. So I should try once more again. Okay, I think if there is no other question, is there questions? Okay, Ibu. Bu Tati, please.
You're all Indonesian, right? Do we need to? Okay. Si itu apa namanya? Nakasi. All right. Okay. Bu Diana, thank you. Uh, two things, yeah. The first one is definition international school. You gave us like a slide containing 3 definition from different sources. Yeah. No, the previous one. Yes. Yeah, that one. The ISC stands for International School. ISC.
ISC International School Research, actually.
Oh,
Yeah, that's like international school website for accommodating the report, the database of international school.
Indonesia,
Yes,
specific to Indonesia.
IC can be accessed from kind of country, but they also have specific for Indonesian and another
In
country.
this
Yeah.
case, this is specific for Indonesia.
Yeah.
Or yeah, because interesting. They define the international school as very English centric. Yeah. When in fact, of course, we have international school, but not necessarily English. I'm just wondering, gitu. And then the fact that also you picked that definition, perhaps because you're focusing on an English speaking. So maybe that's the limitation. I mean the narrow, yeah, the of research. I would like to hear if you also happen to know some international school. For me, Indonesia, Jakarta especially, and also in Bali and some other big city, of course, there are international schools who speak different languages. And I happen to know there is also who provide Arabic as language of instruction. And yes, we have a faculty member here from Palestine, and then whose son goes to a Jakarta based school who use Arabic. For me, it's something new. So I would like actually to get the information, not specific to English. But anyway, if you happen to know that information, I would like just for a knowledge, for knowledge. The second one, what was that? I don't remember the second one. Yeah, maybe you have that information first. Something that but international, but not limited to English.
Actually I would like to do kind of research after that. Yeah, further research my plan in the future research. I would like to conduct a research not only in English speaking country but the Arabic. But I cannot speak Arabic. Yeah, so I just focus in English. Yeah, but I believe that actually even Arabic or maybe Mandarin or another language they can speak English. So I can collect the data from them by English and then I will make a collaboration and so on by the data. Yeah.
That's fine. The second one, perhaps, because you're following up your question, actually, Miss Des, yeah, you are mentioning about the how it was not easy to get access to schools. Yeah, it remind me kind of research that when you do research, typically the most challenging data will be coming from rich people. So most data coming from less privilege. So expect the challenge, but if you can, overcome the challenge like Ibu Diana did, you basically calling each one of the school and you get some miracle. Yeah, I think you are lucky. It was like a miracle because
Because
it's hard.
I even asked my friend from Indonesian Ministry of Education, and he give me some access. So I did permit with Tangerang Selatan Pemda Tangerang Selatan, and I have the letter, but they also reject my letter. Even though I have the permission, so yeah, I just use my professional colleges, yeah, in some of school in Jakarta, and she has helped me a lot. Yeah, but so I have to highlight. The highlight is we have to personal connection for personal networking with one of teacher perhaps in that school, so we can access, we can allow the regulation presenting and so on. Actually, when we open our purpose, our proposal, our question, for example, they will allow, because actually they are worried about what is the research, what is the question, because very sensitive and very conventional, confidential in that school. Yeah.
I can imagine. I mean, I just want to say you are very lucky to get a response back. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not easy.
Yeah.
First, they're
Yeah.
very privileged. They're very rich,
Yeah.
and then most of them they're international, and then they give you an access,
Uh-huh.
even though it's quite
Yes.
restricted.
Yeah.
It's maybe you should consider yourself a lot of doa ya,
Yeah.
karena bisa
Alhamdulillah.
you can access the school. You mentioned the leadership from the
Yeah.
Canadian,
Yeah.
so I think he maybe he or she probably see that an
Uh-huh.
opportunity to
Uh-huh.
give an insight about what international school will be, conducted by a local researcher.
Yeah.
So this is a piece of advice for a lot of students here. Yeah,
Yeah.
getting access to something it requires trust,
Mhm.
requires a lot of, not only you begin to something with trust and sometimes nurturing the trust, Mbak Des, yeah, you are nurturing the trust, and then after that someone there nurturing the trust, and after that you might have the trust to have their school as your research site, and then getting your clearance. I think you need to begin to nurture the trust, whoever the context will be. Yeah, because what happened with Dr. Diana was like, maybe out of many, yeah, only few people would have that kind of miracle, getting access without no contact.
Yeah. Actually, Miss, I also ever felt that hopeless with how to collect data in international school. But I have present IB school in my thesis proposal. So how to fix this problem? Then I also did research for like alternative school, as I said in my slide, National Plus School in Yogyakarta. So I conduct data in National Plus School in Jakarta, Budi Mulia, and also one against, I forgot about perhaps pondok pesantren apa ya? Pondok pesantren di Jogja. Oh, no. Mualimin is Cambridge School. They adopt a national and also Cambridge School. So I try to submit my proposal to Budi Mulia and also Mualimin, and they have approval for me. And so I have data also from that national school first. But then I have opportunities to conduct the research in my object, original subject ya in Jakarta. Yeah, that's Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin.
Great. Thank you, Bu. This is very, what is it? It's insightful discussion, yeah, that the PhD journey doesn't like end it like that way, easy, but then building the trust, building trust and also answering everything as running smooth, careful towards our participants. Is there any other questions from the students maybe? Or online participants, is there any question? Going once. Okay, I think there is no other questions. So we will end it our today's sessions. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached at the end of our today's lunch talk number 55. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to express our deepest gratitude to our distinguished speaker, Dr. Diana Trisnawati, our respected Dean, Professor Nina Nurmila, all the lecturers, and all the participants for your valuable contributions and active participations in this room and also in the online meeting. We look forward to seeing you again in our next lunch talk session. For the offline participants, we wish you still remain in this room. I will close today's session with a pantun again. Buah sukun enak rasanya. Good afternoon and have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, we will have a token of appreciation with invite Prof. Nina and also Budiana to come in front.
Maybe the slide, the first slide. Come with us, Desinta, three of us. Oh, okay.
Mas, tolong diangkat.
Dari aja. Terus di fotografer. Udah, nggak apa-apa deh.
Minta tolong sekalian. Siapa yang
Yes. Thank you, Diana. Oh, lu foto dulu ya. Oke, HP. Oke, mungkin pada sini udah. Oke, mungkin pada sini dulu Pak lewat sini. Saya mau pada yuk sini. Papa boleh tuh berdiri, berdiri. Mana fotografernya? Oh, berdiri dulu. Bu Tati, kalau kau ada sini. Ini punya Bu Diana ya. Ya. Oke, thank you Nurul. Siap. Oke, ya. Ini official. Boleh tuh Pak Ayu.
Ayo sebenarnya nih.
Oh iya. Oke, thank you. Oke, ini Bu Diana nanti takut ke sasar mana? Dulu Bu Diana diantar ke mana? Pulangnya masuk di stasiunnya kan?
Biasa loh.
Oke, bisa. Sengaja nyatar-nyatar tadi. Biar tahu istimewa Ayu. Oh, sudah. Perpus. Sudah. Gak apa-apa. Oh, hitam saja dulu ya. Iya, menurut kita pendapat. Iya.